Hello, good morning. I am perfect. Um, my studio photography name is LQ Studios. You can follow me on Instagram at LQ Studios and other places. So let's dive into the today's lesson. Although what we're going to do basically is the basics of Photoshop basics. You understand? Uh, let's say for the beginners. So this is how it goes. This is the interface of the Photoshop. Then here we go. We come into our file. Although I work with raw images, some people prefer working with JPEGs, but I don't work with JPEGs. So here you can see raw. You can see here raw has this information. You will not see JPEG there. What you see is camera mode and Canon EOS 6D. That's the camera I use. So that's going to tell you that this is a raw image. So, but for JPEG, for instance, this one, you'll see it will just write item type JPEG. So, but for raw, it will tell you Canon mode. You understand? That's to indicate raw. But for Nikon cameras, Nikon will show you NEF. That's to represent a raw image. So what we do direct now is to drag our image into Photoshop. So you, when you bring your image like this, you drop it at the edge of the interface. So wait for it to load. All right. So this is our camera raw interface. Okay, so don't mind this. I'm having some issues with my system, so I need to upgrade it. That's why the panel of the camera raw did not show. It's supposed to show you the where you can make some little adjustment, just like the temperature, the highlight, the shadow, the textures, and the rest. So when it appears like this, don't panic. What you do is just press your shift and left click with your mouse, and it will highlight the pictures. So you come down to this other side and open it. So we'll give it a little time to load in. So okay, while working with raw images, why I love working with raw images is because it gives more detail and it makes your work efficient, and I should say, like, I love the texture. I have a texture. I have more advantage in texture while using raw than JPEG. So here we are. First of all, what I do first is I come down to my crop tool. I believe by now some of you know how to use your tools, but if you don't know, okay, just let me know. On a very good day, I will tell you more about the tools. So here we go. You come down. Although, okay, my crop, I always use, best for me, I love to use Instagram size, so that whenever I give my client or anybody the pictures, it's more easier for them to upload it direct without no issues. So that's why I always crop it by the size of Instagram size. So when you come here at this top bar, when you click this place, you see all the different sizes of cropping. So there is this ratio. Okay, on a very good day, I will talk more on this. Right, maybe when I'm taking you on the Photoshop tools. So, but majorly, The Instagram size is 4 by 5, so that's what I'm using to crop all my images to make it worthy for social media purpose. So let's go, let's drive in. Okay, then I click OK and it will load. So now everything, you can see the picture, how sharp it is and efficient it is. So right now what we do is we duplicate. You can either use Ctrl J, or you can come hold this background, then drag it to the cross bottom level. Okay, I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so let's say either you can drag this and bring it to this icon here and release it. It will duplicate for you. Or there is another way. You can right click your mouse, then come to duplicate and name it background or layer, and you click OK, then you duplicate. So now we start some adjustment and minor correction, such as okay, removing the blemishes and cleaning up the background. So first of all, this is an extra in the background, so I use my patch tool to select and move. You come, if you want to find your patch tool, just come to this icon. Sometimes it can be on healing tool, you understand? So left click for option, then you come to patch tool and select, then you come here, we remove these blemishes. This is an error, we take it off, you understand? Just what you do is just select and drag. You select, then you drag it to where you want, a clean place that you want to replace it with. Then take your time and do it easily. Okay, although there's no much texture or blemishes on the face, so we just take them, the little ones, out, and that is it. Yeah, that is it. So what next? We dive into our frequency separation. Mind you, if you do your selection like this, you either use Ctrl D to deselect, or you can, let's say for instance, you can just click here once and the selection will go out, because there is some errors when you want to do other things without deselecting. It will spoil, or it will complicate your work. Okay, so if you want to create action for frequency separation, and you come to your action, you click on your action to run. Because of this selection, it will not come out very effective. Okay, for instance, I press OK, you can see what it has done. Now if you zoom in, your action just played inside the selection, but outside the whole image is damaged. So that is why it's very important for you to deselect first before doing any other thing. So for instance, let's go to our action. So you can buy any of the action panel that you want online. Yeah, there's various a link that you can get actions on. So for now, I am going to use the beauty retouch action panel. Sorry, due to a lot of things that are in the system, so it's taking a bit long time to load in. So now I'm going to pick my action. This is my action in beauty retouch. for frequency separation. I click. So when I click, I will zoom in to pick my radius. So, okay, talking about radius, the way you can take your radius is very simple but tricky sometimes. What you need to do is this radius panel, you just drag the slider down. Understand? Keep dragging it. So now I think these 2.7 is okay for my radius. So what we do now is we go into, we press OK. The action will run for you. So now you can see all the textures in the picture. So now sometimes the radius, if you select the radius above or below, it's either too sharpened, like too so smooth, or the color will not work. Okay, so this is how this works. You carry your mixer brush. First of all, other people brush on their low frequency separation, but I prefer working on, some people love working on this low frequency separation, but I prefer working on color correction tone. Why? Because I have more advantage to correct, or in case there's any mistake, it's easy to make adjustments to that. So let's get into it. First of all, if you want to work on the correction tone, you have to off your texture layer, high frequency separation texture layer, so that you can work on the correcting tone layer. So this is how it goes. Okay, with this frequency separation, you just need to be brushing. You don't need to do anything much. I believe you know how to open your brush, like make it wider and make it smaller. So this is what you do. You pick, you just brush around it. Okay, one more thing before you can brush on your correcting tone, you come here, this sample all layers. If you do not tick it, whatever you brush will not have effect. It won't show at all, because why? It's an empty layer. So you have to tick sample from all layer so that it can pick from the lower layer, and if this top one is on, it will still pick from there and mix. That's why we off it, so that it will not mix both the texture and the color layer, that's the low layer, low frequency layer together. So we just want to mix only the low frequency layer inside the correcting tone layer. So now let's dive in. Tick it on, you come. When you brush, I believe you can see the effect, although I will still show you the before and after of it. Okay, sorry, just be cautious of your color, understand, because you are not allowed to pick the shadow into the highlight, and don't pick the highlights, don't drag the highlights into the shadow. So let's see what we have done before, after, before, after. So you can see how effective it is and so smooth and clean. So if you want to see both with your texture, all you just need to is just to on the texture layer. You can see the skin. You can see how it's looking like. Okay, so let's off our texture layers and continue the brushing. It's just as simple as this. To brush is not difficult. You have to keep practicing, keep brushing, practice, and one day you get better. Okay, so I am just trying to be fast, so that this tutorial will not be so long. Okay, but mind you, be careful, please take it gentle. I am a bit fast like this because I've brushed for a very long time. I've brushed so many times, so it's easier for me to identify the color tones. You understand? There is the mid-tone, highlight, and shadow, and to be able to work with them. So if as a beginner, you have to be slow and be cautious of these three um, features I just called. That's the shadow, the highlight, and the mid-tone. So you can get actual shape of the object face. So it won't look flat, or you won't push in any side of the face and making the person not look like he or herself. Okay, so let's let's see how far we have gone. Okay, you can see now the face is a bit better and okay. Let's see before, after, before, after. So I'll pause this movie here, this sorry, I'll pause this video here, so we uh, I can quickly finish up and show you the after. Okay, let's continue. So as for babies, some people say they don't brush baby because baby are too small and they don't have many blemishes or too much colors on their skin because they are still little. But for me, I brush as far as the object is a living thing and is human. I brush either baby, adults, or whichever one. So, but I only brush sensitively on their skin, nothing else. I don't brush their clothes unless if the clothes are rumpled. So, just like this now, I'm going to brush this little baby skin, but I am a bit careful because her skin doesn't have many blemishes as or like her parent or adults. They are all just little touch on the skin. Okay, go to the face. That's the eyebrow section. You will go down to the nose, just little brush. All we are doing is to blend the colors, okay, so that it will look even and beautiful. And mind you, just be careful, don't overbrush a face, or don't allow your brushing to enter the eye side. Okay, so take it easily, brush, brush. Okay, you come here, you brush, just blend it in so that the colors won't look different. Okay, okay, there. So here you have to bring down your brush a bit so you can blend this side too, and also this place. Okay, the little part of the body you reduce your brush so you can be able to pass through or go through the places and blend them too. But please take your time, don't rush. Okay, take your time while brushing, don't rush. Okay, so just like the hand, you brush every side of the hand. Okay, the knuckles, you blend evenly. E- okay, so it can look smooth and clean, just like this. I know sometimes this tutorial can be boring, so but take your time and watch it if you want to achieve what you want. Just take it slow, watch it from the start to the end. So this is the finishing. Okay, this is our image, how it turned out to be. Okay, you can see how sharp the image is. Okay, look how blended the baby's face is. So let's see before. That's how the baby face. Let's see after. Can you see? Look at this. Let's see, this is before, this is after. Can you see how clean the work is before, after? So this is basically how you can brush your pictures and get it right. So if you have any your question, you can um, comment, then I will do another tutorial for or explain more on your question. So please, if you miss any step, rewatch the movie slowly and go through it again. So right now, what I do next after brushing my image, I stamp the image. That is, I clone stamp it, like, okay, let's say, let me use another word for that. I extract all this, both the brushed image, and bring it to create another layer for it separately. So what I do is I hold down my Ctrl Shift Alt and E to create the stamp layer for me. So if, for instance, look, this, if I close this, is the same thing. If I close this, can you see the before? And this is the after. Okay, so it has extracted this my frequency separation for me and added it to a single layer on top. So what next is I come down here to start my color grade. Okay, because if you look at my background, it's very clean and simple. So all I need is just to get down to my color grade. So first of all, on what I do on my color grade is I look at the image first. Like, this image is overexposed. So if I have an underexposed image, I add light. And if I have an overexposed image, I drop down the light. So what I do is I come to curve and take down the curve level a bit. Can you see? Now look, before, you can see how exposed it is. After, how do you see it now? You can see that the color and the color of the skin tone is out. So what next is I come down to my vibrant here under the adjustment. So if you cannot find this adjustment layer here in your panel, you can just easily come to this option window and tick it, your adjustment layer. It will appear here. And if you are finding it difficult to work here with your adjustment layer, you can come down to this icon, then click it, all the options are here. You can see it, the brightness, the level, the curve, the exposure, the vibrant, and the rest are all here, so you can use them. So the next thing I go down to is this vibrant. Then I add up my vibrant to give me a bit of saturation. Okay, I think this is fair enough, this is okay. So before, after, so you won't see the effect that much, because what vibrant does is it gives more color to the skin, not to the clothes color or any other um, um, colors in the image. So all it does is it enhances the color of the skin. So next I go to my selective color. Okay, so in selective color there is different colors on under it. So here you can see the red, you can see the yellow, you can see the green, you can see the cyan, the blue, the magenta, the white, the neutral, and the black. So all these colors is what you can play with. Okay, it will give you whatever kind of color you want. So let's go with the red. Red and yellow works for the skin most of the time. So if you take the slider to the left, it add more red to the image. But if you take the slider to the right, it take off the red and make it look like a flat image. So let's add a bit of red. Okay, let's come to the yellow and take it slide up a bit. Okay, so now we go to the white. The man's white has a lot of light because of the lights during the picture section. So you take the black on the white slider down to reduce the exposure of the light from the clothes. So right now we go down to the black, okay, to pop out this hair black and any other place that there is black in the picture. Can you see the effect? Can you see how beautiful it is? Look, before, after. So basically sometimes I am good like this, but sometimes I prefer to add some saturation, because you can't tell, some phones don't have colors, okay, and some have a lot of color. So I love to add saturation a bit, so that in case any phone or anything, it will not look so flat or too saturated. So I add up just a little bit of hue and saturation to my color grade, and that is it. So let's see the before and after of our color grading. This is before. Can you see how the picture was? And this is after. So this is, you can still play with more adjustment options, so feel free to play and look for what you want on it, on your color grading. So next I go to my eye whitening. I have my action here for my eye whitening. So I click on the action, it will play. So if you want to know how to create an action for eye whitening or for an action for your frequency separation, I'm going to drop another tutorial for that later. So now I come to my brush option. I pick my normal brush. I change the switch panel, background panel, to white. Then because here has black, so black cannot work on black, so you either use the opposite color, that's black on white or white on black. So you open your brush, you brush in your white eye, you brush in, you brush in, you brush in. So you do the same to the teeth. Okay, just be careful so that it will not go outside the uh, the teeth or the eye. Just keep it simple. Okay, just like this, like this. Okay, okay. So okay, so now if you look at the eye, you can see obviously it's looking fake. So what we do is to reduce the opacity of our eye whitening. So I will reduce it to 35. So you can see now it's now looking better. Okay, look at before, look at after. So this is how we go about it, and literally you can just save like this. You can come to your file, you can come to this save as and click it to make your saving. You can click on save as copy, then come down to JPEG. Okay, here is JPEG. You click on it and it will appear. So you can choose to save it in any other folder that you want. So I'm going to save mine here. So let me add any alphabet to it, then click save. So now it's giving me, say should it save on a high quality or low. You can either reduce the quality, but I love to save my own on a high quality so that in case they want to use it for anything, banner or frames, you get, so you can still have the good quality of the image. Then press OK, and there we go, we are done with our images. So there's still more other things that you can do to these images, but maybe on our next class I will talk about those stuffs. Thank you and enjoy.